complete. And here to weigh in is Georgia Congressman Jody Hice with more on that. Jody, got a lot of questions for you, but I want to begin with the very latest before we get to that audit. And this is a move by yourself and the GOP Oversight Committee. You've invited Raffensperger, the Georgia Secretary of State, to appear and explain his actions and failures in the general election. Have you heard a response from him?
We've not heard anything from him yet, but basically we're asking him to come, have a briefing with the members of the Oversight Committee on the Republican side and explain what happened in the November election, and also explain what he is currently investigating, some 250 plus open investigations that his office has regarding potential fraud. And finally, what is he going to do to make sure that the election coming up in January is secure? Those are issues that we want to hear straight from the horse's mouth, and we've asked him to come.
Congressman, do you think he's hiding something, and if so, what?
Yeah, I mean, this makes zero sense, what he is doing right now. In fact, we just got some more verification today that the ballots that currently are going out, the absentee ballots, have no signature verification of any significance. It's a total joke in terms of signature verification. It's extremely alarming. Millions of Americans, millions of Georgians, for that matter, are deeply troubled that there are irregularities, there are inconsistencies in the election process. They're concerned that their votes are not counting, and the Secretary of State has that ball in his court. And he needs to take some action, from signature verifications to transparency to making some significant steps in this upcoming election. And so far, he's been silent on those issues, and it makes zero sense whatsoever. People are angry, and after this election, I think we're going to hear from the people.
Yeah, we know that there were reported irregularities. We actually had a poll watcher from Cobb County who witnessed some of that herself on this show. Why are they not, though, doing a signature audit in Fulton County, which has a much larger population and where there were many more reported issues with irregularities?
Yeah, that's a great question, and we've asked that question as well. I suppose the answer would be that you have to start somewhere. But even what they're doing in Cobb County is not a thorough audit of the signatures. They're only taking the signatures off of the ballot or the request for a ballot, and not doing all three. What we need is a signature verification between the request for an absentee ballot, the signature on the envelope that the ballot was returned in, and a verification with the signature that is on file on the voter registration file. We need all three, and they're not doing that right now in Cobb County. They're simply going to take a small sample and compare two signatures. We need not a small sample. We need all the absentee ballots to be compared with all three signatures, and we need it in Fulton County, DeKalb County, and other places throughout the state where the signatures were potentially a major issue that opened the door for potential fraud.
And Congressman, even if they were to identify some problems in doing that, the ballots themselves have already been separated from those envelopes. So then how do you deal with that? Do you say, okay, there's obviously a problem here, we need to go forward and look at some other counties also, and then decide that there should be a remedy such as tossing out certain votes?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. There's no doubt in Georgia, once those ballots the absentee ballots are removed from the envelope, they are removed. So there is currently no way to re-identify the ballots with a specific individual. So to some extent, that's water under the bridge, but the signature verification could nonetheless prove that we had ineligible, illegal voters casting votes, which could throw the whole election into question. But also, this does pave the path for us to fix it in this upcoming election and future elections. And my concern, and what we're seeing so far, is that those steps to verify signatures in the upcoming election is not taking place. And unfortunately, that is the only identification that we have in Georgia for absentee ballots. We don't have photo ID, for example. All we really have to identify votes is signature verification. And at this point, it appears as though that is not happening. So we must learn from the past and correct future problems. And that's what we are trying to push for right now.
Yeah. And how much faith do you have that that will happen?
You know, right now, not hearing anything from the Secretary of State, he puts a lot of question in my mind, in the minds of millions of others, and we have got to press him to do the right thing. For crying out loud, our entire republic rests upon fair elections, and if he is not going to provide that for us, then certainly he needs to be removed. But our urging right now is to do the right thing, learn from the past, and make sure this upcoming election is going to be indeed a secure election.
Congressman Hice, thank you for joining us, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right, coming up, we'll be back with more of American Agenda after this.